Welcome back, Nerd Takes. I'm Justin.
I'm John.
I'm Andrew.
Me and some Lamberts are here to taste the ECBP. This is the 524. So this was released in May of this year, the second batch of the year. We've talked about ECBPs before, so I don't really have to go into it.
We don't have to
the
go through the naming convention at all. Yeah.
The distillery is Heaven Hill, and this particular bottle is aged 11 years and 2 months, which they just started recently adding like these long age or these age statements on.
Oh, just the age. I think it was last year they started adding them.
Yeah. I think so. It has a mash bill of 78% corn, 12% malted barley, and 10% rye, and the proof is pretty high, 130.6. So we're going to see if it drinks and tastes like that. The MSRP is $75 on this, so if you can get it for around there, you're honestly pretty lucky.
Good shape. Yeah.
We just actually got one for about $75.
Yeah. That's right. I did. That's why I got that one.
Yeah.
One quick note as far as like the tasting notes that we're going to share. So they're going to tell us what you got, or tell you guys what they think it smells like, tastes like, finish. But Heaven Hill is actually not released like what their notes are. So this is actually going to come from some third party reviews.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's just how Heaven Hill, that's how they roll.
Sometimes you have to do that.
Yeah. The color is deep amber.
I was just going to say.
Let's talk nose.
Not
so what are we getting right off the bat?
So I got some sweetness right off the bat.
Yeah.
Like definitely the traditional sweetness. Pick your caramel. Yeah, probably caramel, vanilla, whatever. But then you go back in, there's a little bit of heat. When you go back in, not so much that it stings the nostrils, but definitely a little bit of heat.
Yeah, no, I think same. Although I'm gonna differ and say caramel instead of caramel.
Whatever.
But listen. I full disclosure, I've had this before. I have it on my shelf at home. I quite like this bourbon, so I'm gonna probably hang back on the review. But it's a good one.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Bring it.
All right.
We
Fair
can
enough.
still talk about the notes. So like on
we
the
still
nose.
talk about the notes. Yeah.
So you guys are getting like some sweetness stuff. So
Yeah.
here's what they say.
It's a little hot. I mean, there you definitely smell the alcohol.
Mhm.
It's definitely
Well, it's 130 proof. It's honestly,
It's
I'd be
high-
shocked if you can have a 130 proof
Yeah.
bourbon that does not smell like alcohol.
yeah. It's high proof. You can tell. But it does. It's not like John said. It doesn't burn you.
Nope.
So again, this is from a third party review site. A couple different ones I kind of combined, but vanilla caramel, cinnamon cherry, chocolate and oak.
Cinnamon, the spice. Yep.
Yeah.
I can get that. Yep.
Right.
Oak is kind of, yeah.
So what do we think about mouth or palate?
So I don't get a lot of the sweetness on the palate itself.
No.
I don't really get, I mean, you get some of the oak and some of the barrel char, but there's not a lot of sweetness there, which is odd.
Yeah.
For how relatively sweet the note is. Or, I'm sorry, the nose is.
I totally agree. I'm not getting a lot of
No,
sweetness.
it's not super sweet.
But it's not hot and spicy to where it's like unbearable. It is just like a blanket of warmth.
Right.
All the way throughout. And there's a few flavor notes in there I don't want to share yet, but
I mean, you get some of the, like, a general one would be baking spices, because you get some of the spice. I don't know if it could be the cinnamon, could be something else that comes out, but like you definitely get some of that. Maybe some pepper, just because it does have some heat to it and a little bit of bite. Yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, no, I think for sure the pepper, cinnamon, and again, it's not. It's hot, so you get spicy flavor notes, right?
Mhm.
Rye is going to give you things like pepper. It's going to give you spicy cinnamon, whatever that looks like, whatever that tastes like to you. But also sort of the baking spices, whether that's allspice or nutmeg or whatever that kind of tastes like. I'm gonna sort of default to things like stone fruit, because I think you do get some cherry in there. Leather also.
Leather.
You're welcome. But yeah, no, I really like this. And
I
it
can see why you
lasts
like this.
forever.
Because you're starting to turn into a rye guy.
I like
so
rye.
I can totally see why you would like
there's
this.
definitely some rye
Yeah.
sort of undertones. What was the mash bill again?
78% corn, 12% malted barley, and 10% rye.
There's less
Which
rye
is-
than you would expect given kind of the pepper notes.
Well, and the corn is where you get a lot of the sweetness on the nose, but
Yeah.
it's just odd that it doesn't come through on the palate. A little bit of water, I was hoping, I was thinking maybe some sweetness comes out.
No.
Really?
Not at all.
Not with some water.
Yeah, I mean, I can see how there's not any distinct like flavors as far as like, for me, dried fruit and citrus. I think I'm getting a little bit of sweetness for sure, but like just a tinge of it. Like
Mhm.
it's like just on the initial palate, and then after that, it just kind of
It's more the spices
gets straight to spices and
that are
warmth.
coming on
Yeah.
the palate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So according to again this third-party website, the mouthfeel or the palate's supposed to be vanilla, caramel, cinnamon, chocolate, nutmeg, oak. And after this is said, I totally agree with it. A hint of mint. And I'm not a mint drinker, but I do feel like there's a mixture of where
Oh.
that heat turns to like freshness.
Yeah. No, I get that. I see that.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
and again, maybe this is psychosomatic where I'm seeing this and be like, of course that's what's happening.
Of
but
course, yeah.
but I am feeling like it's a really light, like spearmint type flavor
Mhm.
to it after the fact. And I'm not a big mint person, especially on the initial, like Yellowstone is like mints, and I'm not a big fan of that. But this is like almost after the fact. Like, oh, this is kind of a nice little tinge to it.
Yeah.
All right, finish. We've already kind of said the way we feel about it, right?
Yeah.
Long finish.
So
It-
what
it
they
sticks around a
say is
while.
long and warm with lingering notes of, and this is, I think you guys have all mentioned this, but it's nutmeg, allspice, and chocolate.
Mhm.
Yep.
So you kind of said that like on the palate, but I think it actually just goes to the back.
Yeah.
And that's when it becomes the finish. But yeah, this is basically smells super sweet, and then when you actually taste it, it is not. But it is not overpowering to where it's just heat. It's just got a really, I don't know, like a full flavor to it for me.
It's just a little bit more. It's just spicier.
It's spicy, but it's not like straight heat.
Right.
Right.
Just to be, I want to make sure we make that
there's
distinction.
a difference.
right?
Yeah. No, I'm not saying spice in a bad way. I'm just saying spice as a flavor profile. It's the cinnamon. It's the baking spices. It's the pepper. It's whatever you want to call it. There's spice and then there's heat. There is obviously heat there, but there's definitely flavor to it. It's just not what you expect based on the nose.
Totally. Justin, what do you think?
Yeah. There's a lot of heat. It's not a bad heat though. I'm heat adverse, right? We've talked about that, but this is actually, I'm fine with this. Would I personally buy it and say, oh, would I buy a second bottle? No. I'd be good with one, but would I regret if I bought it? No, it's fine. I actually wrote down cherry cordial I got
chocolate cherry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like
there you
I
go.
got it
I
like
see
a
that.
cherry.
Yeah.
But yeah, the chocolate cherry. That's perfect. I couldn't word it. I wrote down cherry cordial,
Mhm.
but that's what I got.
I see that.
I mean, that's on the nose. It's also on the mouthfeel. So like that
Yeah.
totally checks
And
out.
allegedly, there's chocolate on the finish as
On the
well.
finish
So
too.
it's,
Yeah.
it's all
Okay,
the way
well,
through.
then there
Yep.
you go.
Yeah.
Well, let's give it a rating. Yeah. Andrew, you get to go first.
Oh
Let's-
man,
You
I
get to go first.
Like I own this. I really like this bottle. I like this expression. So I'm going to give it a Red 5 Luke 9. And some of that's the fact that I like it, and some of that's also value for money. So if you can find this for $75, for sure get it.
All right, John.
Well, I've got two. So there we go.
Well, I've got one, and I've got the other one also. So there you go.
And I am going to use the Sweaty Luke. The Sweaty Luke.
Sweaty.
The 7.5. Again, I generally gravitate to some more of the sweeter stuff, not necessarily a lot of the spice stuff. I can appreciate the spiciness. Not saying it's bad, but and 7.5 is still a pretty good ranking. Everybody knows our affinity for this brand and particularly this expression. So I don't think I've ever met an ECBP that I don't enjoy. It's just varying degrees of, do I really like it or do I just kind of like it? And this one kind of sits there in the middle of like, it's okay. I'd be curious to see this between the A124. I may pick that one more just because that one's just a little bit sweeter,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
both of them are good.
I think it comes down to like, what are you looking for out of a particular pour? So
Yeah.
if you're in the mood for something that is just going to be very flavorful and sweet and like really focus on like just more of that brown sugar profile, I think this isn't going to be your jam. But if you want to have something that, I mean, the finish on this is unreal.
It's
like,
still, it's
like
still
it's still
going.
going.
I added water to it and it's still going.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
And the legs on it, even with water, are quite remarkable. So it has actually a pretty good mouthfeel. But I do like things that are hot, but also have more depth of flavor to it. And I don't really think I'm getting as much of it as I expected. Now, it's a sliding scale, so I'm not saying it's bad by any stretch of the imagination. I was going to say sweaty Luke too, but I think because as we've been sitting here thinking about it though, and I've been waiting, and I'm still having this fucking incredible finish. Like seriously, like I almost have to go up to an 8. I got to go Stormtrooper Luke. Like it is, as I'm sitting here waiting for 30 to 60 seconds, like it is still just like
It's still there. It's
It
still coming back.
lingers.
It's
It
still
lingers.
there.
it's pretty remarkable.
it's-
Like
Even with water, it's still lingering.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
I don't
Pretty
think you get
impressive.
this kind of finish on a $75 bottle of bourbon. Generally, this is we're
No.
talking like something that is much older or definitely way more expensive. So because of that, I'm gonna go Stormtrooper Luke. Justin,
I'm actually, this is going to sound weird because of how hot it is and whatnot. I'm actually going, do we have a name for 8.5? I don't know what that is.
Sweaty.
oh yeah,
Oh, no,
that's
not
New-
sweaty.
that's New
no,
Hope
one
Luke.
more
New
than
Hope
sweaty.
Luke.
That's
New
New
Hope.
Hope, Luke.
New Hope
No,
Luke.
you're right.
New
Yeah,
Hope
yeah.
I'm going there only because actually I was originally kind of jokingly going to go sweaty. And then I was like, no, it's actually pretty good.
No, I took it from you.
Yeah, you
Sorry.
did. Yeah. and
ruined
then, but no, I'm going to go 8.5 only because you actually convinced me, Justin. It was the finish. Because I've sitting here, I've been working on other stuff, right? Checking your feeds and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, so it's been a minute or so since I've actually had this. And I'm like, I'm really eager for another one, which is funny because it's spicy enough that I don't know that I would actually want to keep sipping it. But now that I've walked away from it for a minute, I want more. So I'm like, oh, this is an 8.5. Like, yeah. The long-term lingering taste is really good.
that's well said. And
Yeah.
I do think it matters like when you're having this. Like this should not be the first pour of the night. At all.
No.
And this should maybe be more focused towards, frankly, like maybe fall and winter season. Like I hate to like, not that you can't
It definitely, no, yeah.
things different times of the year.
Yeah,
But I
no,
think
I totally get
It's
it.
a long, slow burn that maybe if you are barbecuing, you're outside at a fire pit or whatever the circumstances are. I think that
It's cold
it's
outside.
maybe more fitting for that. Whereas if it's St. Louis weather in August, I'm not sure pouring one of these is the best idea. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
no,
No,
I think
I
this
agree.
is a
I
winter.
think-
I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I feel this is winter night. Winter night. Actually, I can picture myself like enjoying this sitting in like on your deck at the end of a long evening and just capping off
Right.
with
To me,
this.
100%. It's a great nightcap, end of the night, and just let it linger, right? I mean, this is full disclosure. That's what I use this for.
there you go.
And you can say the great thing about this particular expression is that it does stick around. So you can pour yourself a single and it'll last you a while just because it'll stick with you, and then you take another sip and then it's another 5 minutes before you don't taste anything and try it again.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure I've ever had a bad ECBP. So get this if you can. It's pretty great. Gentlemen,
Their takes.
producer, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.